Hey, it's Joshua Vergara. What's going on, everybody? Coming to you from CES 2022. Yes, we are here at the event, and rest assured that I and all of our peers are doing our best to bring you all of this coverage from CES 2022 as safely as possible. And with everything that is going on, honestly, I'm going to take a more casual approach to a lot of the content you'll be seeing this week in Las Vegas. Hence me holding the microphone in this because honestly, it's going to sound a lot better this way. Anyway, the show is officially underway and we already have our first bit of news courtesy of Samsung. The Fan Edition devices have made quite a splash over the last couple of years by bringing a lot of the mainline smartphone features into a more affordable price bracket, and now they're following it up by bringing the FE to the S21. Now, as you can see at first glance, the Galaxy S21 FE continues what should be a nice tradition of style and good design. What we already enjoyed from the Galaxy S21 and all of those particular devices returns, the new camera bump that seems to really melt into the frame. However, this time around, they've slowly started to melt it into the rest of the backing, resulting in a more uniform look. That look does come in a few different colors, the most eye-catching of which are the purple and the green, or the lavender and the olive as they are called. I do have to admit, this particular shade of green that you're seeing in this video may not be my absolute favorite, but it still makes for a pretty good looker of a device. If there's one thing that Samsung has done really well over the last couple of years, both with the FE devices but also with other smartphones, it's take an otherwise mundane material choice and actually make it feel quite premium. Because like you may have seen in a couple of previous devices, the S21 FE is made of all plastic, but it feels really good with the matted finish and a couple of small details. I already mentioned the camera bump having a smoother transition into the rest of the backing, but the Samsung logo also looks a little bit embossed on the bottom third. It honestly looks pretty cool. And of course, I'm always going to be happy with a phone that is easy to handle in the sea of large form factor devices, so that's definitely another plus. Oh, and let's not forget IP68 water and dust resistance. Much of what makes the base Galaxy S21 a high-end smartphone is retained here, right down to the performance specifications. The Snapdragon 888 powers the 120Hz refresh rate screen, which is Samsung's signature AMOLED panel in full HD resolution. I'm sure that's going to be more than enough for all of the apps and games that you'll put on here. Up to 8GB of RAM and 256GB of onboard storage are available, and a 4500 mAh battery can wirelessly charge in both directions. Or of course, you can go with fast charging. This one has 25-watt wired charging. One of the more interesting developments in this FE, however, is the camera. While the base model Galaxy S21 had a particular camera setup, what you're getting in the FE is an extra lens in that true zoom. This telephoto lens is an 8-megapixel shooter that can go as far as 30 times in that space zoom, which is what Samsung calls it. Now, 8 megapixels might be a little bit lower in the megapixel count compared to the main and ultra-wide cameras, which both come in at 12 megapixels. Fairly standard, but still pretty good usually. The Galaxy S21 FE also gets points for having a pretty powerful front-facing camera, which automatically adjusts for groups and can still do portrait mode with multiple people who are all face detected. That front-facing camera is a 32 megapixel shooter, by the way, bringing with it 4K video recording at up to 60 frames per second. Now, one cool addition is Samsung's Object Eraser, which is their take on content-aware removing and filling. Tucked in the extra menu in the gallery editor, the Object Eraser lets you circle objects in the frame that you might want to remove, like say, people or things in the background, or even the foreground sometimes. The results will vary like always, depending on how hard the software has to work to remove the item. And as long as it doesn't come up as a big blob, this is one of those tools that should come in handy in a pinch when getting a clean shot isn't quite so possible. So far, it does seem that the Galaxy S21 FE will be continuing what is a now pretty well-regarded tradition from Samsung, putting together the popular features of mainline releases, adding an extra splash of color, maybe adding in a few new tricks, and providing the resulting package for a good price. It is important to note that the Galaxy S21 FE, which goes on sale on January 11, so it's basically right after CES, it's not going to be as much a steal compared to the S20 FE. That's because the Galaxy S20 FE was quite a bit more affordable compared to the base model Galaxy S20. That's simply not the case here with the Galaxy S21 FE and the base model Galaxy S21. However, I do think Samsung has done enough to carve out another spot in the S21 family, one that matches the amount of features and the premium feel, all provided in a more affordable version to their current flagships. So you get good looks, a good camera, good performance, for what might be considered a good enough price. It's probably a great way to start off this new year in tech. Look forward to my thoughts on the Samsung Galaxy S21 FE when I get my hands on my own device. Subscribe to my channel for all of that content and more in the world of tech and at CES 2022. Sound off by hitting the like button and getting into the comment sections down below. But from there, I'm going to go ahead and call it on this one. Thank you so much for watching. Please take care of yourselves and each other and enjoy your tea, everybody.